Hey, good evening. So, I was looking at some stuff on climate change on YouTube, and I happened to stumble across a video by a guy, church militant. And it's a Catholic thing. I have to say, I have not watched a video about someone so ignorant about climate change and so hateful. But that's generally something I found about conservatives is that you're just dealing with people who their whole stick is to rile up people. Like Alex Jones being, militant. So whether it be church militant riling up Catholics, I mean, he used no science to back up anything he said. Basically saying that climate change is this leftist, Marxist thing. And I'm just like, what about these thousands of scientists out here? Don't you know they're putting their name on that? They're putting all their school learning behind that? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. No science. And then he was talking about how for him, people in Michigan, well, that told me everything I need to know right there. Michigan, we'd be happy to see warmer weather. Check it out how ignorant that is. First of all, if you're telling me that the only thing you see about climate change is that colder areas on this planet are going to warm up, then you might be, your intelligence level might be too low to have this discussion. Yeah. We're living in a world that's becoming rapidly overpopulated. And by that I mean resources are being taxed. Not the land, resources. There's people who live beside the bodies of water we're talking about, that live beside the ocean, that live beside the rivers. They've done this since time immortal. Time immortal. That's where they make their food. That's where they grow their crops. If climate changes, that means some of those plants, those crops, won't be able to grow because the weather's going to change. Do you understand that? What happens when that water rises up? Those people that live beside the water, and that water rises up, and that salt water gets on that land that they've been farming for generations upon generations. What happens? What happens then? So now that land can no longer be used, and that whole crop may be completely wasted now. Now, in this overpopulated world, in this world where it's all just on time as far as the trucks and things like that, what you're talking about is the beginning of a global famine, or I'd say regional famine, that could kill a lot of people and cause a whole mess of problems. I'm not sure he's smart enough or intelligent enough to get what I'm saying, but that could be bad. That could be really bad. And I think this goes back to this thing about religion basically giving people a gold-plated reason not to give a care about anything. And I always talk about it. That's dangerous. And I was raised in the church. I could recite the Ten Commandments. I could recite all the books of the Old Testament. I could speak a little Hebrew. I was raised in it. I'm not an atheist by any means. But I don't think God put us on this earth to rape it up and destroy it. I think he gave it for us to be stewards of it. And I think that goes back to this whole Christian cult idea of we're going to heaven. Jesus is going to take us back, at some point. So it doesn't matter what we do. We can just destroy the planet and it'll be okay. That's dangerous. And it's selfish to all the people who live off of, who live off of this planet, who live off of the land. I think it's disgusting. What you're basically talking about when you're talking about Michigan being warm is, it was a guy on the Senate that said basically the philosophy is, I've got it. I don't care about nobody else. That's basically what he's saying. He doesn't care about the water coming up. I was reading a book about this lady that she moved to Louisiana to make a book. And she was showing how climate change already affecting them. And one white man said something that I just thought was crazy. I haven't forgotten yet. That pollution is the cost, climate change, the cost of capitalism. And it just really got me that these guys know that this stuff is the reason, but they don't care. They want to believe in capitalism so badly, even though they don't profit from it. They're not profiting, not profiting from the system. I can see if you profit from the system in some way or another. I mean, if I go out here recording the police and some kid's like, don't record my dad, hey, I don't blame him. That's his dad. His dad's the police and he respects the police because, it's a cycle. I get that. I don't have that in my life. I don't have anybody who I just, I don't feel that way about them. They have a job to do, and I have one as well. But it just got me how, and then the guy was talking about how the person, there was somebody in the church who's in the Catholic church, who's a priest who was talking about, I guess, all the homosexual stuff. And he started talking about how when you allow your mind to rot via homosexuality and effeminate stuff, when you do that, then like the rest of your brain rots. I thought that was crazy. I just it's like I tell you about South Carolina stuff that we can't legalize marijuana because it's going to legalize all drugs. It's just nonsense. And it goes back to what I always tell you, and that is the Caucasian always has something to prove. Always has something to prove. It's always about more. It's never about just one thing. It's never about just the issue with a Caucasian. I'm not talking about all of them. I'm talking about guys like that who make videos calling people stupid and saying that Marxists, their father is the devil. And I'm just like, you think there's something holy about capitalism? I mean, if that's what you believe in as a system, hey, that's fine. I mean, we can talk about that. But you really think there's something holy about capitalism? I like these guys that think that any kind of cashless system is somehow the beginning of the mark of the beast and Antichrist. I'm like, you really think there's something holy about the dollar? You're fucking stupid. You gotta be fucking stupid to believe that. But this is, like I say, going back to it, this is some people in the church. This ideology that their belief in God gives them a gold-plated reason to not give a fuck about anything. And that anybody who does care about nature or the environment, see, I look at it now, I'm going to end it here. I look at it now like, I'm one of the people, if I go back in time, I would be one of the people protesting for the Surgeon General's warning to be on the tobacco packet carton. I'm the guy that probably be out there reading Silent Stream and being for that needs to come out. Silent Stream was talking about, this lady was talking about how pollutants would be killing a lot of animals and how you'd be a Silent Spring. I'd be one of the people that protest against DDT and asbestos. And it's another one I'm thinking about. Is it EGTA or something? It's another one I'm thinking about. I realize that I am one of the people that's on the right side of history. And I realize that these devils, see, it's like somebody said to me a while back that fighting against white people, fighting against white supremacy they're always going to be against us because the fight against a lot of their stuff is the fight for human betterment. And if you don't believe me, look at the different things we've had in history that were fucked up. Look at all these military bases where they talk about all this pollutants in the water from hand grenade use. I was reading about that earlier today. And explosives and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? You can't reason with these devils. Their way is not a way of prosperity. Their way is a way of destruction. That's the way it's been. That's the way it will always be with them. I, for myself, herald the end of white rule. Not that I want to kill white people, not that I want them destroyed, but I realize that as long as they're running the system will always be about destruction. Peace, y'all.